Brother, I'm going, wanna wow Hulk Hogan. If all I get's a moment, I'll make sure it's an explosion. Cause lately I've been seeing stars, trying to kick out on this joy cord. But it's no holds barred, middle fingers like I'm Stone Cold.
What is good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Slapping Me Wrestling Podcast. I'm WeTooDeep. That's DJWAVYD. If you guys tuned in last Tuesday and you saw Wavy D here give a wonderful episode, and we're like, well, where's WeTooDeep at? We had some things come up, and I wasn't here. Thank you for hosting a show anyway, holding some fans over.
You're here in spirit.
Yeah, was here in spirit, absolutely. But we're back together. Almost didn't happen. Luckily, we got. Luckily, his situation got fixed. But with that being said, let's jump in. As always, support the show. Go to that QR code in the bottom right corner. Go buy you some WWE merch. Every sale we get a small percentage of that just supports the show, goes back into it. As well, join our Discord page. Join our conversation that we talk about wrestling with. Real fun group. That link's in the description, as well as the Junkyard Media Group website and blog. We'll get some stuff up there eventually. I know Cody and James are working on some stuff, I think. But with that, on Thursday, Beyond the Junkyard with James and Cody's on 9 p.m. Eastern. That link is in the description as well. Now that all that fun stuff is out of the way, let's talk about some wrestling. So we're going to preview Queen and King of the Ring. We're going to talk about Raw from last night. But before we get there, let's get cooking. And before we jump into this, the topic of discussion for this is, if Joe Hendry were to come to WWE, how would you, if you were the booker, Joe Hendry is signed, Triple H calls DJ Wavy D up, hey, you're booking Joe Hendry.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we're running this segment. But before we get to it, one of the questions I think B Master asked, we're gonna go ahead and address that one. Is there ever a situation where I would become a believer in Joe Hendry? Wavy D said he was a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
I've been sort of reluctant, and I'm here to announce I've been convinced.
Yes, sir.
I am now a believer in Joe Hendry. The song has gone from like annoying to like very catchy very quickly. And so yeah, I like him. I think, I see clips from TNA with him. So yeah, it's not as bad as, I think it was more just me trying to be sort of edgy and not liking what the IWC likes. But when there's good wrestling, and we got to call it for what it is.
Yes, sir.
With that, I want to hear what you got to say. How would you book Joe Hendry?
First off, Kara, congratulations. You put a lot of hard work in to convert WeTooDeep into a Joe Hendry fan. Well, what's his fan base called? The JoJo's?
We got to come up with something. I don't
know. So I was pondering a few different ways you could bring in Joe Hendry. So the boring way, if you want to bring him in as a face, you know what I'm saying? I think a good group of people to bring him in with would be kind of R-Truth.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with this past Monday night on Raw, R-Truth was saying that he talked to Andre the Giant earlier in the night, saying to get some backup. That Andre the Giant turned out to be Braun Strowman. And then if R-Truth, doing one of his skits or segments with The Miz or whoever he's doing the segment with. You know, say he can say he has a friend or whatever. And then, I think you can introduce Joe Hendry to the fans with R-Truth. R-Truth can get anyone over. It's, so I feel like he's definitely a cheat code when it comes to trying to get someone over. Now, for the creative and better way. So I'm booking this in the future after the White Six kind of get dismantled or sent away or beaten, or how Uncle Howdy goes away or something. I don't know. They go away for a while, right? And then we start getting more QR codes, and we start getting more. I hate the QR codes, but hear me out. We start getting more QR codes, and we start getting some more glitchy going on. And, and the QR code might bring it to something that says, "Say his name, say his name." Some ghouly, kind of like the Fiend.
Right.
Say his name instead of let him in. It's just a bunch of say his name, say his name, and then we go down the line. We're like, oh, not these Uncle Howdy QR codes again.
Right.
And then, are you familiar with when Kane had the movie coming out, the See No Evil movie?
See No Evil, yeah.
And they had that whole. It might have been like a year-long thing or 8-month-long thing of like May 19th. May 19th, and like Kane was getting like really freaked out, and he would like get angry and destroy people. So you do, QR code like, say his name, and like the Fiend, or not the Fiend, sorry, Uncle Howdy gets more mad and more mad. Uncle Howdy comes back, and then we're like, oh, the QR codes was just for Uncle Howdy, just like we said it was. But even Uncle Howdy, when he comes back, he's like, you guys say his name. And everyone's like, who? Okay, well, now Uncle Howdy is here, but who is he talking about? And then we get like, you ever play the SmackDown versus Raw like video games where like they have like when we're facing the Undertaker and the Beat the Streak, and he turns like the other wrestlers into like zombified versions of themselves?
Yeah.
Well, I think we get a zombified version of Joe Hendry. You know what I'm saying? TNA, and the way this happens is, if you're familiar with TNA, sometimes they kill off talent.
Right,
literally kill off talent.
Like Eric Young, like 2 years ago.
Yes, exactly. So I think we get AJ Francis or someone on TNA to legit, well, not legit, but in story, kill Joe Hendry, and WWE used that to her advantage and brings a zombified version of Joe Hendry. And he does almost like a Thriller version of his say his name, and he appears, and it becomes more like a scary, like they affect the music, make it all that Whitey type theme stuff. And I think that's how you bring in Joe Hendry. And then he gets saved by someone. I don't know. You get like a good guy to counteract Uncle Howdy and all this like crazy like nonsense like supernatural stuff. You get like almost like a demon slayer or something like that.
Right. So before I do my idea, just sort of play on that good guy could be someone like Kevin Owens, who because how like Kevin Owens with the whole like Ezekiel Elias thing, like he saw through it. He sees through a lot of these gimmicky stuff. That's just what Kevin Owens does, and he sort of plays that off very well. So he could just look at him and be like, bro, this is stupid. You're not actually a zombie. And he, I think Kevin Owens could, maybe someone like LA Knight who has experience with that story already.
Ooh, I think we get even more sports entertained, and we get like a Ghostbusters team up, a Ghostbusters partnership between like R-Truth and Tozawa, and we get weekly segments of R-Truth and Tozawa trying to hunt down the Wyatt Six and hunt down like their lair, and like hunt down their lair or something, and eventually we get like a cinematic match or something,
right?
Of R-Truth freeing Joe Hendry from the evil like demonic possession of Uncle Howdy.
Okay.
I want super video game and sports entertainment for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening. I don't know if the fans, the more hardcore fans, would react very well to it, but I mean, I would be highly entertained with that. For me, I think there are several ways you can do it. I think the easiest is just sort of put him in that like Elias type role where he just comes out, does a promo similar to what he's already doing on TNA. And but I feel like that doesn't allow him to do, I mean, he's actually a pretty decent wrestler. He's not the greatest, but he's actually pretty
Yeah.
good. Um and so I think you got to keep what you can't just destroy what got him over. So I think you keep that whole um aspect, but I would feature him more in the ring, maybe put him in some sort of tag team. Um Him and LA Knight for some reason is the first name that I came up with. Sort of like maybe even like some sort of like rock star gimmick. Maybe Lexus King could come in and they can play that sort of heelish character Lexus King plays. Um I don't know, I think you can have fun with it. Um this sort of came to my mind that like this is pure WWE. Like this screams made for WWE TV. Even if it's something like an R-Truth segment where it's just something silly in the middle of the show in between matches to sort of clean the palate after a 20-minute match. Um, Definitely, I think he would be. I don't think he should be like world champion anytime soon, but
Yeah.
even if he's in some like um he's TNA's like digital media champion or whatever. I think it would be cool if WWE came up with some sort of like social media championship that he wins, and that brings back Cardona because didn't he come up with some champion as well when he was Zack Ryder? So I mean, even something like that. Um, I think he could sort of be the goofy guy that Gable used to be before he turned heel
Okay.
as well. So like I said, you can definitely um, you know, play around with it, and there's different ways you could do it. But I definitely think if WWE's smart, they have that TNA sort of like pathway. I would bring him in for like imagine this unannounced. He's at SummerSlam,
Okay.
just
Okay.
unannounced. The lights go out. I get it's going to be you got to wait till it's dark, um, because it is an outdoor arena, but like it's completely pitch black, and then like the spotlight comes on and the music starts playing. That would be really fun, I think, for a lot of people. So with that,
Well, to play off of that, I was when you're talking, I was thinking you can even do maybe like a Royal Rumble thing, where
right,
it's like early in the Rumble, say like I don't know, like a Kevin Owens or something is going through the first like three opponents or something,
right,
or whoever's a heel at the time, and they grab a microphone and like they're talking to the crowd like is this the best you guys can do like so I'm demolishing all these guys and then
right,
he's looking out to the crowd and he sees a sign like we want Joe Hendry and he's like who the hell is Joe Hendry and then
right,
boom the lights go off and then the lights come back on standing
right,
behind him is Joe Hendry.
right. Ooh, yeah, because the whole thing is like if you say his name, he just poofs.
Yes.
And that could be even in and of itself like its own like sort of like going down your original like Wyatt Six idea, like him haunting people, where people just say his name and he poofs up behind them.
In the reflection like the
Right,
Undertaker.
and he's not really there, but yeah, I like that. I like that idea a lot. You convinced me. I was kind of like shaking a little bit because I'm not a big fan of like the supernatural shit. But yeah, I like it. But the biggest news coming out of this is WeTooDeep is now a
Joe Hendry
believer
fan.
in Joe Hendry. So with that, let's go talk about Raw last night before we do these predictions for the PLE this weekend.
Banger.
I was at Raw last night. For those who watched it, we were in the top right behind the USA logo at some point during the Sami Zayn promo. So I'm gonna explain or go through some of these segments from the in arena perspective. I want to sort of get your perspective from the other side of the TV on how it was presented. So the first thing I want to ask you, was the crowd like loud? Did it seem like they turned it down?
There was definitely some noticeable points where it didn't sound like the crowd was into it. Especially during the Lyra and EO match.
Yes.
Sounded like the crowd was not quite into it, or they weren't loud for it. They put on a good match. I was talking in the Discord how Lyra actually is winning me over with these good matches, you know, and she's being put in the ring with good wrestlers who are showing how she can wrestle good. I think it's too early to put her in the finals of the Queen of the Ring, but we'll get into that earlier. I mean, we'll get into that later. But yeah, that was one part where it seemed a little lackluster. They seemed pretty lively for the tag match. They're pretty lively for Gunther and Jay. The crowd looked amazing for Jay's entrance. The crowd was looking great. When Braun Strowman was doing his thing, and we'll get into that later, but R.I.P. KALE, you know what I'm saying? R.I.P. my boy. But even for that, they seemed, they were getting some pops. Not the loudest. I think last week's Raw was definitely louder.
Right. So I don't know. I have a feeling WWE's not muting, but like turning down the mics just a little bit. Because I heard someone was like, "Oh, the crowd's been pretty dead all night," and I promise you, we were not. It was pretty. Now, like you said, there were points where it was boring. And I even mentioned this in the CWC Discord where the Lyra and EO match was a snoozer. The crowd did not care one bit about this match at all. I think there are reasons for that. I think Raw, and I would say a majority of Raw's demographic that watch Raw and SmackDown. That's it. Have no idea who Lyra Valkyria is. You give them zero reason to care. The whole I'm sort of with you. This whole like putting Becky sort of like pushing her to win and stuff. That's a little corny to me. But EO, I don't think anyone ever really cares about EO. The language barriers, the thing. There were wet chants during her little promo in the arena. So there was someone behind me that said, she was starting to talk in the promo, and they're like, "I don't speak Japanese." So and that language barrier is always going to be a thing for her if she can't speak. For me, my problem was more so the length of the match. I looked up because I wanted to make sure I wasn't going crazy, but this match just seemed like it took forever, and it went a little bit short of 20 minutes.
It had like 3 commercial breaks.
Right. Outside of this match, this was the longest match of the Queen of the Ring tournament so far. Outside of it, all the other matches are like 9-minute matches, except for Tiffany and Bianca, which went 13 minutes. So, I mean, this is the longest match of the tournament to date, and probably going to be longer than the match on Friday. I don't see Nia Jax going 20 minutes. But I'll
go 20 minutes with Nia Jax.
I mean, I didn't say I wouldn't, but I just don't see her going that long in a match. But that's another. Who was? I think it was Liv who was talking, and we'll talk about her. We're talking about that in a minute. But there was a fan, basically, she said, like, "I'm going to sit right where I belong," or whatever. And the dude was like, "Yeah, on my face." But I'm telling you, casual, if you've never sat with casual, I was excited because I didn't have the IWC sitting next to me in my section this time like I normally do. First off, it didn't stink.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
But second, like, they enjoyed themselves. They weren't too caught up in the X's and O's of everything. So it was a really fun show. Let's talk about Gable. He got some "you suck" chants.
Yeah, I heard them. Yeah, we heard them on TV.
I'm assuming this wasn't like pre-planned. I don't think they expected this, but this is sort of where the crowd hijacking the show benefits the show. And so, then they showed them with the creeds. They're definitely pointing in the direction of a heel faction. I think there was a sign. I don't know if they showed it on TV. It was like Perk Gable or whatever.
Yep, they showed it, especially early in the night during the promo segment.
Right, but that promo was pretty good. I don't know if it was just because I was in there with the environment, but Sami Zayn was like easy to cheer for this time. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I thought he did a decent job. The whole thing with Otis is a little confusing to me. I'm assuming he's going to turn at King of the Ring.
Turn on Gable?
Turn on Gable.
Okay, but yeah.
I'm assuming that's what's going to happen then. But yeah, what was your whole thought on that interaction, that whole match? And
I definitely like the match. I like the angle, him trying to get Maxine and Tozawa to do his dirty work, and they didn't. I feel like they could have sped that up a little bit.
Right.
I feel like the referee was just kind of like turning around for no reason at some point, because like Gable wasn't doing anything. Gable was barely even talking to the ref. So I feel like they could have got the same effect while speeding it up a little bit. But I definitely liked the angle, and I liked that Gable got the win.
Right.
Even though Otis did cheat a little bit, and and then Sami and Otis had some words in the back or whatever. I like it going forward. Their match is going to be really good. They're wrestling at the triple threat. It's a triple threat match, right?
Yeah, triple threat.
I don't. We'll get into that later. I'm not sure where I see that match going yet.
Right.
I do like the direction Gable's playing in. I don't know if it's too soon to put the title on Gable, as in too soon for this program. I think Sami walks out. Oh well, I spoiled it. But I think I think Gable gets his win in a one-on-one match.
The
only way he gets is if he pins Bronson and Reed, but they're kind of like trying to keep him strong.
Right.
I definitely like the segment, and the crowd seemed pretty energetic for their whole interaction too.
Right. Yeah, I think I'll definitely say the beginning and the end of the show was the hype. The hype is the crowd got. In between was a little bit iffy, just depending. I know the fatal 4-way. I get what was it? It was the number 1 contenders match for the tag team titles, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I was sitting in my chair, completely dozed out the entire match. Completely forgot where I was. I snapped back in and it was like, oh shit, I'm at a wrestling event. This match wasn't necessarily exciting to me. I'm not a big fan of these like fatal 4-ways to determine number 1 contenders that have very little storyline behind them. This seems very AEW-ish to me. And so, I mean, the only thing that really saved the match was that Dakota was there. And that was literally it for me. The finish of it, I did not expect Shayna and Zoe to win this match.
Who do you think was going to win it?
I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be Damage Control, to be honest with you, because I've always felt that they were gonna push this Damage Control Jade and Bianca story a little bit longer. But I like that they're not. I do like Shayna and Zoe. It's something new. And I think Zoe needs a push. She seems a little bland right now.
Yes.
So, not necessarily Shayna, but for Zoe's sake, she needs that push.
Now, do you think Sonya accelerates the Bianca and Jade split to maybe SummerSlam? Or do you think Sonya gets involved and splits up Baszler and Stark?
So I initially assumed that when she came back, she was going to try to get her place back with Chelsea. But that doesn't seem to be the plan. So I'm assuming it's going to be a split of Zoe and Baszler.
Or maybe a new female faction.
Maybe. There's rumors that Gigi Dolan might come up, and everyone's been thinking that they'll put Gigi and JC back with Sonya as sort of like a repackaged Toxic Attraction. I don't know. It's been a little bit long, and they're sort of completely different characters now. That I don't know if that'll work. But I don't know. It'll be interesting seeing Sonya. I mean, I heard rumors that she was healthy, but having her there, pretty cool. But let's go ahead and talk about Braun Breaker. You mentioned this a little bit earlier. Braun Breaker almost committed murder on live TV last night. So they put in NXT. He was NXT signee. He was on Level Up. KALE DIXON. For those who don't know, I think his real name's Caleb. He was Caleb B on The Bachelorette a couple years ago. And he died last night. Yeah, first off, I like that instead of just getting like random guy from indie promotion in city we're in, they're actually using NXT talent.
Yes.
For these squash matches, but I also like that there's a story behind why Braun did what he did.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, like when Vince did these squash matches, it was just 1, 2, 3. Here's a move. I win real quick. I go to the back, and nothing comes out of it. So this is going to have something come out of it that I enjoy. They're really trying to make Braun get that sort of like Goldberg-esque push. I want to see Adam Pearce fight, to be honest with you. I want this to lead to like, Braun, I've had enough of this. If you want to take your anger out on me, let's do it in the ring.
I want to see Adam Pearce versus Nick Aldis.
I mean, I want to see
Survivor
that too.
Series.
I want to see that
That's
too.
the match we need.
I mean, I want to see that too, but like, yeah. But with that, just a moment of silence for our man KALE, because that shell shot, man.
R.I.P. that pussy. Hey.
I know. I think Mike said he was doing a little eulogy on the CWC show tonight. So,
man, debuted and retired in one night. Also,
boy.
Tony Khan, that is how you do a stretcher job.
Exactly. Like, who was it? It was Tony, right? That he sort of like got straight up. They put the neck brace on him and he walked out.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like, why not? Didn't even Kenny get stretchered out when Kenny got hit, or did he walk out? Because Kenny should have been stretchered out.
I think Kenny walked out.
That's stupid. Like, even though like that is how you sell an injury. Like, people legitimately thought the dude died.
Did Daniel Bryan even get stretchered out
against Ospreay?
Yeah.
No, I think he walked out himself.
Yo, that's how you do a stretcher job, okay?
Yeah, I mean, perfectly sold. I mean, it was a little bit spoiled for me because I was on the end of the view in the arena where like I saw that he completely missed, but but
the camera angle that they got,
but the camera work that was one of the things that I wanted to see. How did the camera show it? I'm actually 100% surprised they showed the impact, because I thought they were going to do it similar to how they did it with NXT, where they sort of blacked out. Michael Cole did not sell it the way Vic Joseph did, though. I'm just going to say it. Vic Joseph sold that when Von Wagner did it. But all I got to say is, KALE, things did not work out for Von Wagner after he got killed. He literally just got released. So we wish you the best in your future endeavors. Just go ahead and pack the bags. I'm sure the Bachelorette is hiring again.
Yes, or go to Big Brother, go to
right
MILF Manor season 3.
But let's talk about what everyone tuned in to watch last night, and that was Jey Uso versus Gunther. What were your thoughts on the match?
It was a really good match. Gunther carried it.
Yeah,
and he hit Jay's weaknesses. by having Jay on the defensive the whole match, and and taking away his arm.
Right.
He did it fair for Jay by hiding Jay's weakness and carrying the match,
Right.
similar to how Dragunov
Mhm.
kind of carried Jay the week before.
Right. So I like in the promo leading up to this earlier in the night, Gunther basically stated, "I'm the superior wrestler, and that's what's going to make me the king of the ring." And that's exactly what sort of took place in the ring. It was Gunther's superiority in the ring that essentially won him the match. Now, everyone's overreacting in the IWC. Oh, they're burying Jey Uso. No, they're not. This whole tournament has come down to one thing. This is how you push Gunther into the main event scene. I read something I posted in the CWC Discord. I don't know if I did it in ours. But it was a post that I saw on X that basically said Triple H is basically using King of the Ring the same way that they used it for Austin and Triple H and I can't remember the other. I think Lesnar and them, where Austin prior to winning was Intercontinental Champion. He was strongly booked, and then this is sort of their way that he gets pushed into the main event scene. I want to read it actually word for. I still got it saved, so I'm going to read it word for word. Sheamus, yeah. So it says he's replying to someone. He says, "You really don't understand. Let me ask you a question. Would you consider Hunter an old school guy? The answer to that should be yes. Okay, here's another question. What was WWE known for in the late 80s and early 90s? The answer, right?" And he said, having a guy who they knew would be world champion material with the IC title, and the moment they dropped that title, pushing them to the moon. Also, more times than not, it started with winning the King of the Ring, Randy Savage, Bret Hart, Austin, Triple H, and then later on with people like Angle and Edge. That is exactly what they're doing with Gunther. One last question. When have Jay and Tonga ever fought? The answer would be never. There is no story there. The IWC just wanted so badly to believe that there was. What fans did not understand that this tournament was never about the bloodline, but was only about the ascension of Gunther. Now, how do you put a bow on that ascension? With Steve Austin, it was winning the finals against Jake Roberts, who was a legend. With Triple H, it was winning against Mick Foley, and with Gunther, it will be beating Randy Orton, who is, in his own right, a legend. Now, we'll get to that part when we make our predictions, but I agree with everything in that. Best explanation I've ever heard of what they're doing with Gunther. Do you think this buries Jay's momentum, or what do you think about that whole post?
No, I don't think it buries Jay's momentum. Jay has the power of the fans on his side. Yeah. So he's like R-Truth. He's always gonna be over. He's always gonna be just fine. He's gonna have a job. Right. He's not to mention he's part of the bloodline. So who's in charge right now? The bloodline is gonna be in top spots. Yeah. That's how WWE is. Yeah. Now, and Jey Uso is the number 2 babyface on the roster right now.
Would you put Cody at 1?
I still put Cody up there. Yeah. Who? Here's a little side question for you. Who is the more pushed number 2 babyface? Current Jey Uso or that 2011 to 2013 Sheamus behind John Cena? Sheamus was winning everything. Yeah. He was King of the Ring winner. Yeah. He was a world champion. Did he win Money in the Bank?
He won Money in the Bank, I think, in that reign. Yeah.
Did he also win Royal Rumble or no? That's what I think. Is Sheamus a Royal Rumble winner?
I don't think he has.
But maybe he was pushed crazy.
Yeah. I'd still say Jay. I think Jay doesn't need the accolades. I think just being a part of. I also think Jay was sort of similar to Sami, was sort of just because of how popular he was in the bloodline. They sort of had to strike with it. Yeah, but I think they made the right call with Gunther here.
Oh yeah, especially for the finals match at
right.
Saudi.
Right. So with that, let's tune over to Saudi this week. I'm assuming it's like a 2 p.m. start time with it being in Saudi.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I mean, I'll be at work anyway, so I'll probably watch it later that night. But let's start with, I think, the match at least I care least about, and that is the women's title between Becky and Liv. Let me tell you something. Liv Morgan needs to just not talk. Her voice, I guess, I never really recognized it till I was live in the arena. Her voice is annoying as shit.
Did you notice her walking out of the car with Finn Balor?
I did not. But I saw the video. I saw the video this morning though. But
I know they showed that live or not. Did they show the superstars like walking to the arena from their cars at the Star of Raw, or was that just a TV thing?
I may have just been a TV thing.
Like,
I don't remember that.
Io got like some like blue Lamborghini.
I saw that. Yeah. I think
it was in that same segment.
It was in that segment. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that. I wasn't paying attention. But yeah. So between Becky and Liv, is it Liv's shot? Does she win the title?
What's next pay per view? Money in the Bank? No, not Money in the Bank.
No, it's Money in the Bank.
Or no, it's not the Europe show.
No, it's Saudi, then Money in the Bank in Toronto on the first week of July.
Does Liv get it now, or does Liv get it next pay per view? I mean, so Becky, when's her contract over? Is it over after Saudi?
Yeah, so the rumor was last week she had like 3 weeks left. So this week she would have 2. Then next week would be 1. So it would be like early June.
Like I doubt Becky leaves, but like business says, don't put your title on a talent
on an expiring contract, right?
Yeah, a talent who's not under contract. We don't do handshake deals around here,
right?
We learned our lesson.
See, I'm of the sort of belief that there's already a contract there, but they're not going to announce it.
Okay.
So I think Becky retains. Though I can see, imagine like Liv Morgan. So because with that, you mentioned Finn Balor, I imagine like Damien's getting ready to leave. Everything they sort of showed last night, he's getting kind of frustrated with them. So I have a feeling Damien's getting ready to go out by himself. And so I can imagine like Finn and Dominic and JD, they maybe get bored, or they make this deal where Liv can sort of like join the Playhouse or whatever. And then Rhea shows back up and Liv's there with the title. So I could see something like that as well.
Is there? Okay, well, yeah. So just for the record, if we're making predictions right now, or is that what we're doing right now?
Yeah.
For my prediction on paper, I think Liv walks out of Saudi with the title because Rhea's not close to being ready yet, right?
I think we still got at least like a month or 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and now just for like some fantasy booking, any idea on when the House of Black, when their contracts are over? Especially Malachi and Buddy.
I have no idea.
Because what if like Rhea comes back with Malachi and
with
Buddy,
the new
the new faction, and it's her, Malachi and Buddy versus Liv, Dom, Finn, and JD. Anyway, I honestly I see Rhea and Damien still on good terms.
Right.
I like they're the more of the leader types, and they're more of like the all about results.
Right.
Whereas like Finn and like Dom always got kind of excuses for their stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I'm taking Liv for the win. And yeah, 'cause I don't want Liv to have Money in the Bank contract again. I want that to go to another special blonde.
Tiffy, yeah, that's Tiffy's match without a doubt. My official prediction on paper is Becky Lynch. I think Becky's going to retain. I really hope she does. At least I'll say it that way. Because if Liv wins, I don't know if I could sit through another Liv title run.
Do you think Rhea Ripley is healthy enough for Money in the Bank?
Maybe. I mean, we do have. I mean, it would probably be 4 or 5 weeks before we get another PLE. So I think Rhea could come back in that time. Yeah.
Now, are you familiar with the YouTube channel Murphy's or Murphy's, whatever? They do. I shared him in the Discord a few times, but he does like the how I would book so and so, how he does it on 2K or whatever.
Yeah.
He brought up a good storyline where Liv wins in Saudi or whatever, and then Rhea comes back to get the last qualifying spot, like the episode before Money in the Bank, or 2 episodes before Money in the Bank. Yeah. And then Finn wins Money in the Bank also. And then they're in the ring announcing who they're going to face. Rhea says she's going to face Liv. And then Finn Balor backstabs and says he's going to face Damian Priest. And then Finn, Dom stood to the side. But it was Finn and JD jumped Damian. And then it was, Demon Balor versus Damian Priest at SummerSlam.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate it. Yeah, but I'm sticking with Becky just because I can't sit through another Liv Morgan title run.
It won't be a long run.
So we'll move to the next match: Sami versus Bronson Reed versus Chad Gable for the IC title. I'm gonna go ahead and circle this. No, I don't think I want to circle this one as my match of the night. I think that's gonna go to the main event. This is gonna be a contender though. I think they're gonna do some really good things here. However, I'm probably gonna lose this bet here. That's why I'm not putting money on it. But I'm choosing Bronson Reed to win this title.
Okay.
Because I think you can continue Sami and Gable without the title.
No.
I think you can. I think you can center it around Otis costing Gable the title, and then you have Sami take the pin.
Yeah, but it's all about Gable wants that title. And he's like, we're gonna do anything we can or anything.
But
anything
now that
possible.
Otis, but when Otis turns on him, now the story is him getting revenge on Otis, and now he's got a new team of the Creeds.
I think Bronson might be there to be sadly the pin guy.
Yeah, that's probably why he's there. He's there to take the pin. But
I think I'm circling Sami retains.
Okay.
I'm trying to think how to go about it. I do think Otis turns on Chad Gable, but does he turn on him and then Sami Haluva kicks him and pins him, or like I don't know. But I have Sami walking out because I have Sami versus Gable down the line in a 1v1 where Gable will eventually go over.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got Sami walking out.
Okay.
Retaining. Yeah, sure.
So let's talk about these two. We'll do the Queen of the Ring first. So we know Lyra's here. So the first part of this prediction is figuring out who she's facing on after Friday. So is Nia or Bianca winning this for you?
Okay. So the problem is that Lyra versus Nia is going to be a snooze fest for the Saudis, and not putting Bianca on your Saudi show,
right,
is wild. That's why I thought Lyra should have lost, and we should have had
Io versus
Yeah.
Bianca.
Yeah, I think we should have Io versus Bianca at Saudi. Just one last time, just get the Saudi fans happy, and they move on from the Bianca damage control thing because they'll both be in their separate shows. I thought you'd get that out the way, but now they're pushing Lyra. So I think part of me wants to say Bianca, but especially with like the past 2 weeks with her knee issue, I think that plays a big part in the SmackDown match because I think Bianca's gonna try to lift Nia, and her knee like gives out, and then Nia gets the win, or maybe Jay Cargill for frustrated from last week comes out and gets herself disqualified again,
Right.
and costs Bianca. So I think we got Lyra versus Nia. You know, it's gonna be the bathroom break match, even though it's Queen of the Ring. It's gonna be the match that people like. You know, the Saudi fans aren't gonna be loving it. I think Nia. Well, just to finish off the prediction, I think Nia goes over, and
Yeah.
I think Triple H rewards her latest run by what's it called, capping it off with a Queen of the Ring title or Queen of the Ring crown or whatever.
Right.
So Lyra versus Nia. Nia beats Lyra.
All right, we're on the same page. I thoroughly agree with this as well. I think Nia wins, and the story that I think they try to paint in Saudi is the sort of like David versus Goliath type story with Lyra here. I don't think it's good. I don't think she wins. I'll say this: it wouldn't surprise me if she wins. I don't think she needs to win it though. I think it's way too early. I think this entire push is premature for her.
Yeah.
I probably don't have her beat. She faced Zoe in the second round, right?
Yeah, first round.
I would have had Zoe win that match, to be honest.
Same.
But I like Lyra. I've liked her since NXT. Nothing against her, but I just have a problem with. I don't think she's like Braun Breaker. You can push because there's a connection with Braun Breaker coming up from NXT. There's no connection with the casual sort of Raw audience. And so
True.
I don't think people care enough about her. And then pairing her with Becky, which a lot of people just want Becky to go away anyway. So you sort of bring that sort of negative heat onto Lyra by doing that. It feels sort of like, well, she's only in this position because Becky Lynch is being a politician backstage for her. And so I think Nia's definitely going to win this. I'm assuming that means a title shot down the road for her against Bayley. And so, I mean, maybe we make Nia champion. I don't think that happens, but yeah, Nia Jax will be your Queen of the Ring this year.
The women's division is really, really missing the likes of Raquel, Gonzalez, Charlotte, Carmella,
yeah,
Alexa Bliss. Like they're really missing these talents right now. Because
Yeah.
right now they're relying on
mid-card talent in main event spots.
Yeah.
And it's not working. I'm sorry.
Because you got Bianca and Jay type in the tag team scene right now.
Right.
And you're trying to push these mid-carders who, you know, because you're not pushing the right mid-carders. If anything, I would say try to give Shayna Baszler one last try.
Right.
Give Zoe her first try. You know what I'm saying?
Shayna's at the point where she's on NXT tonight fighting Natalya. So I think they're over with her. So,
they should have called up Roxanne Perez, even though she's the
I agree.
champion.
I agree.
Roxanne has better connection with the fans.
So that, and I think like if Roxanne took Lyra's spot in this tournament, it makes more sense for Roxanne to win it because there's a connection there. People actually like her, and I think my problem with Roxanne is in the same boat as it almost feels like she's pushed because of Booker T. And so I'm not saying she's bad. Part of me questions, like, if it wasn't for Booker T being her trainer, how far would she have gone in the company? But with that, let's go to the King of the Ring. We got Gunther. Now, before we figure that out, Randy or Tama Tonga?
I'm not happy with either option.
Uh,
I think this should have been Carmelo Hayes. I'm not happy with either option. The SmackDown side of things was trash. I don't know if that's a hot take. The SmackDown side of the King of the Ring was complete garbage.
That whole bracket was just weird to me.
Yeah,
You could have replaced AJ, put AJ in a match against Cody, and not had them tied up in this. You could have put somebody else in his spot.
well, I thought AJ was in the King of the Ring.
Yeah, he was first round against Randy.
Oh yeah, and then wasn't Ray also in it? And Ray lost his match. No,
Yeah.
Ray was on Raw.
Ray was on Raw side. Yeah, LA Knight was in. LA Knight probably.
I didn't even want to see LA Knight either. Like the SmackDown side of things was garbage because like you're gonna put the winner up against Gunther,
right?
And the only person who from the SmackDown side I think can have a really good match with Gunther is a Carmelo Hayes. Tama Tonga, I'm not as familiar with his wrestling. You know, I know he got that New Japan style or whatever. He's been in there for years. So hopefully he can wrestle a good match. But at that point, you have heel versus heel at that point. And then Randy's just too old at the point where I don't see Randy taking 1,000 chops from Gunther.
Oh, I think Randy's going to put him over.
He'll put him over, but I don't see him taking all these chops like Jey Uso did last night. I don't see Randy doing that. Randy's too old for that. I think Randy's gonna what I think they're gonna do is they're gonna do like the spot where like Gunther goes to slap Randy. Randy ducks. He hits the ring post. Gunther's hand is all messed up for the match again, and so it takes away his chopping ability. And then Gunther has to find another way to overcome the odds and I don't know, win by a Boston Crab or a sharpshooter or a choke out, or maybe he power bombs him. I don't know. Maybe he does a shooting star press for all I know. Gunther ends these matches, which I do like, is how he doesn't end them all the matches the same. He has a lot of different ways to end the match.
Right.
But I think Randy's past the point where he's going to take 1,000 chops.
I disagree though, because I'm going to go back sort of to that Twitter post that I read. I think Randy Orton is going to play his role here and make Gunther look good, and I think he takes the chops. I do. I think this entire tournament now, when you see the bracket, and I saw SmackDown side, I'm like, none of this makes any sense as to why these people, there's no story here. But now it makes sense because the entire tournament was predicated on Gunther winning the whole thing. And I'll say SmackDown side has been very, very weak. Corbin didn't need to be there. LA Knight probably didn't need to be there. But my question then is, who the fuck do you replace him with?
I would have been happy seeing Corbin in the finals against Gunther.
I think he could put on a decent match.
I think that would have been a banger of a match.
I would have loved, honestly, for Dijak to have been drafted to SmackDown and face Gunther. Dijak is very good at these sort of hard hitting type matches.
But remember, he don't get the main roster clout. He was on the main roster. His current character was not on the main roster.
Right.
The last time the people you sat next to at Raw last night, the last time they saw Dijak, he was
T-bar, yeah.
And he had a mask on his face.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think it's Randy versus Gunther, and without a doubt. But you also got that plays into why I think Nia's going to win, because they're going to give King of the Ring to Raw, Queen of the Ring to SmackDown, and there you go. So, let's talk about.
We got two heel royalties.
Yeah.
Does Lyra get it? Oh no!
I don't see them putting both of the royalty characters on the same show.
Also, before we move on, what's up with Lyra's shoulders, bro? Well, why she walk around like she's built like The Rock, but she not? You see the way she be standing? She stand like she like this, and she just like hunched over like this, and then she just walks around backstage, and she gets smacked, and she's like, oh, and I'm just like, I don't know, she got some icks, bro. I don't know. She's winning me over with her in ring work because I didn't like her NXT at all. She's winning me over a little bit, but she walks around like a fucking Lego character. Like what the fuck? Like what are we talking about right now?
Bro, you gonna stop hating on my people.
Ew, fuck Becky, fuck Lyra, fuck Dakota Kai.
Whoa. She don't need to be taking strays.
Love you, Charlie. I love your streams. I'd be in the chat.
Let's talk about this main event though. So I didn't watch SmackDown last week, so he did like get it changed to just for Cody's title, right?
Yeah.
So it's just for the World Undisputed title. Is there any chance Logan Paul leaves Saudi with 2 titles?
Only if there's shenanigans from Uncle Howdy, which I doubt. I mean, does Uncle Howdy debut or not debut, but come back at Saudi? And if he does, which is it? Give me a SmackDown or a Raw group? I think. Do you think he hosts a Raw or SmackDown? The Wyatt 6.
I think it's going to be one of those like unique attractions that appear on both shows.
All right.
I do think he shows up at Saudi though.
Do you think they show up in the main event, or do you think they show up in like some?
I think it's just going to be a random
segment.
I think it's going to be like a segment by itself. I don't think he attacks in the ring.
All right, that's good. But I think Cody Logan is going to be match of the night.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I got Cody winning, bro. I don't. They're not putting the title. They're not putting the World Heavyweight title or the Universal or WWE Championship, whatever, on Logan right now. But I think it's definitely going to be match of the night.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is only the match for it to be match of the night. I think the attraction of Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes was too good to pass up. They're not going to have Cody lose to Logan Paul. It's just not going to happen. So I got Cody here as well. I'm assuming these are going to be the only 5 matches. Triple H left this 5-match PLE card, which I love as well. That means each match gets a little bit more time.
I wish you would put a tag team, like men's tag team match up here.
Yeah.
Like Waller and Theory have done like jack shit since winning the titles. Like our Truth and Miz have had like what 2 title defenses so far.
Right, but
that's sort of Waller done.
Played their character.
I guess they had that. No, they had the street fight. The street fight was with the Bloodline. Yeah, so they haven't done nothing.
Okay,
they were on commentary last week. And they didn't even get involved in the match. They were just on commentary doing nothing.
That's what they're supposed to. They're the cowardly heel champions. They're the cowardly heel champions.
Do we get maybe a Waller effect, and that's when the Wyatt 6 comes out? Like,
I don't know. So when it comes to the Wyatt 6, I'm not going to predict it because it's going to be one of those things where I don't know enough because I haven't been following these fucking QR codes. And so I don't even know what the fuck. Apparently, they did a Twitch stream and the fucking psychiatrist got stolen or whatever. I have no idea what the fuck is happening right now. And honestly, if the Wyatt 6 never show up, I'll be fine with that. But they played something during commercial. I'm assuming it was during commercial. About it, they played some music there, some creepy ass music. In the arena last night, and it was pretty hype. But yeah, I don't necessarily care about them, to be honest with you.
During Raw, when the matches are on, can you tell when the commercial breaks are during the matches?
I know when the commercials are happening because the screen
goes black, right?
The screen goes black for a second before they flip it back over to just so that you can watch it. But also, if you follow the wrestling enough, a lot of times the action you can sort of tell when it's going to. If they go outside and they do like a dive outside, and the cameras run over to them. You know they're going to
Yeah.
commercial. There's just certain spots that WWE is sort of deemed like their go-to commercial spots.
And how funny is it to like when like the first wrestler comes out, they get to a commercial break, and the wrestler just stands in the ring in the middle of the dark or stands outside
Right.
the ring.
So that the one I remember from last night was Damage Control came out, and then they went to commercial, and the code. Then they went to the DX cam. If you've ever been to,
Yeah.
they went to the DX cam. So Dakota and them were dancing in the ring to it. And then they went out to the Prime station and started handing out Prime to fans. You know, so.
Did they do a sign cam or sign of the night?
They did a sign. Yeah, they did a sign. I knew mine wasn't going to be on it because it had.
Oh, you didn't make it up there?
No, I didn't. It sucked.
You're right next to the cameraman.
Bro, he ran away. He ran away right before it. I assumed that's why Jay was going to come down next to me, but that man came in from the garage, where the fucking basketball teams fucking sit. But let's move into some of these questions. These are all B-Master this week, I think. So the first question was, who do you think was the best GM? Now, I want to add to this. That way we could sort of differentiate. It's to who's the best GM in WWE of all time, and then who's the best current GM. Let's do it that way.
All right.
So let's start with current GM. Who's your favorite we have right now?
Out of the current GMs, it's still gotta be the boy Adam Pearce, baby. I do like some Nick Aldis, but Adam Pearce is just the boy. You know what I'm saying? Back when he was running both shows, and I feel like he still gets more involved. And also, Nick tends to kind of get a little friendly with the heels. You know what I'm saying? He gets a little shoulder with the heels.
Right.
I like how Adam also keeps it kind of real. And
right.
You know, he goes through like the emotions,
right,
right, and the exasperation. You know what I'm saying, of being a GM. You can see it.
Right.
So I definitely like Adam. And
right.
I feel like he's like in every other segment.
Right. Yeah, but see, you mentioned Adam. He's good. You mentioned Nick.
Oh my God! Don't say she don't do nothing.
You missed Ava. Ava's the best. Like, she's fair. She does what is right for the fans. That's what a GM needs to be. Like, what puts the best product on, and it's Ava. Come on now.
She got no personality.
You don't need to be a personality. You just got to sit there and make matches and do things that make the wrestlers and the fans happy. And Ava does it the best. I'm just sitting here, man. Just sitting here saying she does it the best. All right, who's the best GM of all time?
No, I broke into two different categories.
All right.
My favorite GM of all time was Teddy Long.
Right.
Teddy Long was my favorite GM of all time. Now, the best GM of all time is gotta go to Eric Bischoff. I think Eric Bischoff was the best GM of all time because, you know, he was a heel authority figure.
Right.
But he also got his comeuppance, you know what I'm saying? Even Vince got his comeuppance. But as far as Eric Bischoff, I can vividly remember, you know, when John Cena gave him the FU into the trash dumpster or the trash truck or the garbage truck or whatever. And like there's definitely a lot of times where Bischoff he had great music.
Right.
You know, I'm back.
Right. It's that music. Anytime I played, you know who it was.
Never. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Eric was a good GM, and he made for entertaining TV because, you know, he would put the faces in compromising positions, and you know, and he would, you know, tend to the heels. You know, Teddy Long, you know, it became too routine, you know.
Right. It sort of became super gimmicky. Like, whenever he came out there, it was like, yeah, you're gonna face the Undertaker.
whoa, player. Don't go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? The two of you in the ring versus the two guys on the ramp in a tag team match. Oh, JBL, you got an issue with me? Well, guess what? Tonight, player, you're going 1-on-1 with The Undertaker.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? That's literally every SmackDown.
Right.
Whereas, you know, with Bischoff, it was different.
Right.
I don't know if those two are on your are either of those two on your answer. I have a few shouts to give, but I don't want to take your answer.
So I was going to go Teddy Long, to be honest with you. I like him. I do like Bischoff. I can't remember, was Heyman ever?
Yeah, he was SmackDown GM.
Right.
Stephanie,
Shane. Johnny Ace was actually pretty good as a GM. I know we can't really mention him because he, you know, can't talk.
I wasn't a Johnny Ace fan at all. Shout Michael Cole, the
anonymous, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Which turned to be Hornswoggle.
Yeah. Let's move on. He asked also, looking back at the last 2 years, do you think Cody has already peaked?
Peaked as far as what he can accomplish in WWE, yeah. I mean, what more can you do besides win 2 World Rumbles and win the biggest title in the
in the longest streak in modern history?
Exactly, and he may have had 2 WrestleManias in a row.
Right.
I mean, so like as far as like peaking, as far as what you can achieve in WWE, yes. Story wise, I feel like he can still have amazing stories.
Right.
Stories like a top bloodline stuff.
I think if a heel Cody could fucking make money.
Yes.
I really believe that.
Yes.
It's never gonna happen, but it should.
It could happen. I mean, I feel like we can. I'm holding out hope that we can get Homelander heel Cody, where he just like, you know, he's pushed too much to be the face of the company or America or whatever, like America's golden boy, and you know he sees the dark side of corporation. He sees the dark side of WWE, and you know, turns.
It would be really fun if like Triple H like corrupts him to think about what's best for business. Stop thinking about the fan, like authority type Cody Rhodes.
Turn him to what you couldn't do with John Cena.
Right. Yeah, my answer is going to be the same. I think as far as like achievements, I mean, I think he could win some mid-card titles later in his career, but I mean, you've done basically anything you could do to top the industry. You're the biggest babyface in the entire industry right now.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to get the what's it called, the Triple Crown or whatever it was,
the Grand Slam, I think he could do that. I don't think he necessarily needs it.
An NXT title, I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I think there's some storylines you could tell with him, and for me, that's what I want from Cody to end his career. Just tell me good stories. You've already done what you set out to do for your personal goals. Now, just give us good stories.
Yeah,
and so
Randy,
right. So speaking of Cody to NXT, he also asks, will we ever see a megastar like Cody or Drew McIntyre or Randy Orton in NXT, or do you think those special appearances only stayed with the mid-carders?
I mean, can you see a Cody have like a one-off match in NXT? Sure. I don't see. He's not going to be there as like a trade or a draft.
Right.
Like, does he do a Becky Lynch run? Sure. But like,
maybe
he's not going to be an NXT talent or like a Drew McIntyre. Yeah.
I think he could be someone that sort of like promotes the Dusty Classic, but I don't necessarily think he goes and wrestles on NXT. I don't think that's something they want him to do.
Yeah, because he's bigger than 400 audience.
Right. And so like the only person on NXT right now I can see him fighting is Trick Williams, but you don't want Trick losing either. So there's sort of like a balance to where like Becky Lynch could go down and lose to Lyra, and Becky Lynch can recover from that. Cody losing to someone like Trick Williams, as good as Trick is, I think Trick's probably, I've said this before, Trick's the best world champion in the world right now in terms of like pure sports entertainment ability. But I feel like Cody being the face of the company, losing to, the C show kind of hurts Cody a little bit. Whereas someone like a Charlotte, I think we might see Charlotte go down and do something when she returns. Because Charlotte can take 2 or 3 losses and recover from it. But for the most part, that's going to be the Natalya role, the Shayna Baszler, the AJ Styles, the OC type spot. That's just what I see it for. That's it. That was the last question. So let's go to Thirsty Tuesday. We didn't do it last week because I wasn't here. The week before that, I just completely forgot about it, to be completely honest. So we're back. So on Thursday last week, when I did my solo show, I mentioned 4 matchups, and we do have winners there. I know Jasmine Nix won. Dakota Kai, and I think she was against. Let me pull this back up. Give me a second. Whoever, it was a tie, and so it's my show, so I get to make the final decision. She faced Ariana Grace, so Dakota Kai moved on. Cora Jade moved on over Lola Vice, which surprised me a lot. And then Alexa over Raquel. So we are now in the, I guess we would call them the quarterfinals. And so we have first matchup, Chelsea Green versus Cora Jade.
Cora Jade.
Without a doubt, Cora Jade.
I do like Chelsea. I feel like she made a good run in the bracket.
Yeah.
But, there's always something where I just think, I do think Chelsea gets a little bit overhyped by the IWC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's pretty. I think
she's pretty, but I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you remember this. I think the IWC marks only like her because when she was on the indie scene, she fucking flashed the fans and, showed her titties to everybody. And
I know that.
Yeah, she fucking flashed the fans on a show once. And she did OnlyFans. And so, people actually... these what Nerdy D calls the basement rats. They this dude looking up research
research purposes.
Next matchup, your boo, Indy Hartwell versus Alexa Bliss.
Indy Hartwell.
See, this is where we're gonna differ.
I do like Alexa, but Indy Hartwell.
So Alexa hits me on two areas. She's blonde. I have a thing for blondes. We all know that. But she's also 5'2", and I don't know what it is about short girls that I like, but they're a little crazy. I guess that's what it is. So I'm going Alexa Bliss here. So we're tied here. So we need the Discord here to help win this, decide this one. You're gonna go Indy or Alexa. Next matchup is Liv Morgan versus Jasmine Nix from NXT.
Jasmine Nix.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Jasmine Nix over Liv Morgan. And then our final matchup for this week is Zelina Vega versus Dakota Kai.
Zelina Vega. I know you love Dakota Kai, but Zelina Vega is fine.
No. This is the toughest one for me. But I gotta stay with her. I gotta stay with my girl. I gotta stay with her. King Coda, the king of kicks, I think is her name. Dakota Kai. Without a doubt, Dakota Kai. So we're different on 2 of them. That means Cora Jade and Jasmine Nix, because 2 out of 3 here. They're automatically advanced. We still want to see the vote, though, but we need the Discord to help us decide between Indy and Alexa and Zelina and Dakota. With that being said, link to the Discord is in the description below.
Ooh, I have a quick segment I like to...
You want to add something real quick?
I have a surprise segment for you, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to give you a wrestler.
Okay.
Okay. The wrestler in question is Chris Jericho. All right. And now I'm going to say a few wrestlers' names.
Okay.
And you speak when I name a wrestler better than Chris Jericho. And we'll do prime Chris Jericho. So whatever you picture as prime Chris Jericho.
Okay, so like for me, prime Chris Jericho is like him versus The Rock.
Okay.
Like what's that, like 99, 2000?
Yeah, 2000, yeah, 2001, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
When we beat The Rock and Stone Cold in one night?
Yeah.
All right. So wrestlers I name you, you can think of them all in their prime.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm quiet until you name one that's better.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Sin Cara. Andrade. Malachi Black. Eddie Kingston. Kenny Omega. Dominic Mysterio. Rey Mysterio. All right, back. Rey Mysterio.
I'm gonna speak there. Prime Rey Mysterio is better than Prime Jericho.
All right. There you go. He won.
Right.
I saw a TikTok of these guys doing it. There's like 3 of them on the couch, and they'll say like a football player or a basketball player,
right?
And the host will name players. And then
we may have to do that. We may have to do that every week. We'll flip turns.
But
we might have to do that every week. But I like that. But with that, that's another episode. I have no idea what the fuck this happened with my cameras. But with that, thank you all for watching another episode of the Slap and Meat Wrestling Podcast. As always, all the links in the description. Join the Discord. We love to talk to you. And until the next one, have a great rest of your night.
Deuces.
Brother, I'm going run a wild Hulk Hogan. If I like get some moment.